Welcome to the Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie. The Rebel Rebel is a show dedicated to creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. It's a love letter to those people who think audaciously and act courageously in service of making the world a better and more interesting place.
Hanging on to all this stuff and having it surrounding you affects you mentally and emotionally in ways you don't even realize necessarily until you get rid of it.
Like, talk about a rallying cry of truth. Right? Like that from a brand perspective, I'm like, holy crap, that hits.
So we've moved so many times in my life. We were like, I was pro at decluttering. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback.
I first found Christa Jones through her company's Instagram feed and fell in love with the wit, charm, and just fun honesty it shared. This is a story about resilience, about seeing something and just going for it, as well as just getting out of the way and letting other people help. Please welcome to the show, Christa Jones from Rose City Professional Organizing. How's it going?
Oh my God, it's so good. How are you?
I'm so good. I've been so looking forward to this conversation. I can't even tell you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been following your Instagram, like not in a creepy way, you know, but I just love the stuff that you put out there, and you've got just I don't know. I sort of fell in love with your point of view and what it is that you do and what you bring to the world. And I just had to have you on the show. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Do you like the before and afters?
I love it. Yeah.
So
I also love your little cheeky, cheeky bits.
Funny Fridays.
Yeah.
Those are the most popular.
Yeah. You definitely get some traction for sure.
That's good.
So Christa, okay. So why don't we start here? Tell us a little bit about what Rose City Professional Organizing is. I mean, it's kind of in the name, but
way more than that.
Yeah. Why don't you sort of bring us up to speed on where you're at with this particular entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, sure. So right now, Rose City Professional Organizing is a multi-six-figure company that has contract declutter coaches and professional organizers in Calgary, Red Deer, Edmonton, Camrose, Sherwood Park, Edmonton, Stony Plain, Spruce Grove, and now Fort McMurray. We have 2 organizers in Fort McMurray that are launching this year. So yeah, it is pretty friggin' crazy. we're not even 5 years old. We'll be 5 years old in July.
Wow.
That's where we're at.
Okay. So many things jumped out right there. And one of them was organizational coach.
So yeah, I mean, the professional organizing industry is pretty well known because of some of the Netflix shows that are out there right now.
Right.
But one of the biggest factors of the professional organizing job is to do the declutter coaching. So I like to call us declutter coaches and professional organizers because I don't really like to do the organizing part before the decluttering part. Like it just for me does not work for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be the point of organizing the clutter?
Oh, people do it all the time. They just buy tons of storage bins and tons of shelves and they just organize the clutter.
I'm so guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see the guilt on my face right now.
You know, it's because the decision making about what to let go of is so friggin' hard.
Well, so I've had a couple big moves in my life, and I don't know how you feel about this. I feel like I might be outing myself a little bit, but I have actually bought bins, like big rollaway bins, ones that trucks come and pick up. And I've just taken shit and thrown it into the bin and just walked away and never thought about it again.
Yeah. I don't judge you at all for doing that because it is definitely a mental health issue. Like I can't even say it any other way. It's hanging on to all this stuff and having it surrounding you affects you mentally and emotionally in ways you don't even realize necessarily until you get rid of it. Yeah. And you just get to that point where you can't deal with it anymore. So that's an option.
Yeah. And then when everything, well, because, you don't want to, I mean, I donated what I could donate. I didn't just throw stuff away, but I didn't also sell stuff. I was just like, if I couldn't give it away and, I didn't want to deal with people, I just put it in the bin.
Yeah. That takes a lot of energy, man. Like to post stuff on, Marketplace or Kijiji, it's just, and it's getting harder to sell stuff now. So when you have very limited time and energy, it's like, how much is this time and energy worth? Am I going to get $20 for this thing? And is that worth it?
Yeah. Why?
Dealing with people is difficult.
What is it? Okay. So I'm so curious about how you got here. So if we could travel back in time to whatever seminal moment it was that had Christa go, this is what I want to do in my life. And you've been around for 5 years as a business, but I would suspect that probably there's some stuff ahead of time.
It's crazy how our journey is just like, you don't know what the heck is going on with your life and why all of these little forks in the road are taking you in those directions. And sometimes you're thinking, what am I doing? I'm failing. This is not going the way that I want or that I expected. And there were definitely quite a few of those along my journey. One of the biggest ones being my marriage failure. I guess I could call it that, just the divorce, having to move my 2 young kids out of that house and to a small town back into my parents' basement. It was humiliating. After, being a successful, wealthy realtor in Fort McMurray years before that. And then being a mom and not being in real estate and then realizing like I have nothing.
Yeah.
And thank God for my parents because
Yay, parents.
Yay, mom, dad. But it is definitely a humbling experience to go back to living with your parents, really having nothing, having these 2 little people depend on you and having to start all over. So, I was very lucky to find a wonderful person who he met me in my worst possible time of my life and saw some potential. So thank God for him, honestly. I have to give him the biggest credit because if it wasn't for my now partner, we've been together 8 years, seeing the potential in me and seeing past all of the crap that I was going through. I don't know if I would be this far ahead. So I have to give him props for that, but that was pivotal.
It brings thought to that stuff that it's cliche because it's true, is that if you can't handle me at my worst, you can't have me at my best kind of concept, right?
Yes. So
that's really cool.
I do look back at those times as, that was tough. That sucked, but there's so many bright, shining, things that were in those times. And so, he helped me get a job at the bank that he, that's where he banked. And so he's like, oh yeah, I know them really well and they could use you. And sure enough, it was a great job, for a year. And then I got really tired of dealing with people and just like, honestly, I've been in sales and marketing and all kinds of things, like, customer relations my whole life. And I just was like, I said to him, I can't do this anymore. And he's like, well, come work at our factory. They own a steel manufacturing plant. And he's like, you can work on the assembly line. And I'm like, wow, downgrade.
No people though.
But there was like 2 people that I had to talk to, and I really enjoyed working with them. Put the podcast on and headphones in, and just built stuff on the assembly. I actually loved it. Like, it's very structured and very organized, and it actually fit my personality very well.
Hilarious.
But after about a year working there and listening to these podcasts, I had kind of gone from listening to homeschooling and parenting podcasts into like side hustle and entrepreneurial podcasts, because I grew up with an entrepreneurial father, and that bug bit me hard. I helped him with a lot of his trade shows and door-to-door sales, and he had me in network marketing things with him. And he put that in me at a young age. And so, I was 34, 35 when I realized like I need to do something on the side, to light me up. And it's not just parenting, and it's not just building steel boxes. Like, so it was the summer of 2019. And my next door neighbor was unloading boxes from her car into her garage, and I asked her why. And she said her dad was, ailing health and going to have to move into long-term care, super sad situation. And so I offered to help her go through the boxes and sort things into categories so we could take some things to him and ask him, what's donate? What do you want to give to certain family members? And what can we just trash? Right.
Yeah.
And give him control of that kind of process. And she said that would be amazing. And then she ended up hiring me a year later to help her with the stuff in the basement after he passed. But that weekend I went to my mom and I told her about this conversation with my neighbor. And she's like, oh my God, you could totally help people with their clutter. Because I'm always at her house, like helping her donate things, shuffling things out the door. Like, Mom, you don't need this. You have too many of these things. I've helped with moves. We've moved so many times in my life. We were like, I was pro at decluttering for the moves and organizing the new house, helping her set it up. And I'd never really thought of myself as like an organized person in relation to my space. I was like, oh yeah, I'm good at school, organized in, my studies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never had even a label maker growing up or even in my adult life. So I was like, I could be a clutter coach. And that was kind of where I started with this whole thing. It wasn't about the organizing. Mm-hmm. It was about helping people with the clutter. Right. And as soon as I created my Facebook page, just with an old headshot and called it Organize with Christa, posted on a bunch of mommy groups and Facebook groups and just said, clear the clutter, calm your life. And I had a lady message me within 5 minutes and be like, I need to do my storage room. Can you come this week? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but sure. so I like binged upon the only podcast I could find. And I binged like 4 or 5 episodes, like how to work with a client, how to do this. And I'm like, oh my God, I need like a little contract and I'm going to need a receipt book. And like, I just whipped it together in a couple of days, like totally on the fly, and went to her house. I showed up and she's like, I need you to do the storage room because we need to list this house for sale. We need a bigger house. And I was like, okay, cool. Sounds fun. So we go to the storage room. I help her with it in like 4 hours. We blitzed it. I even got to help her with the bathroom cabinet because we finished pretty quick. Yeah. And when I loaded up all these donations into my minivan, like it was jammed. Yeah. And as she's paying me for the 4 hours, she looks at me and she goes, I don't need a bigger house. I just need less stuff.
Oh my God.
And I went, yep. I took the money, I wrote her a little receipt, and I called my mom. I'm like, she just paid me $200 to do this storage room, and now she doesn't want to list her house because she just realized she just needs to donate. So she wanted me to come back, do her craft room, wanted me to come back, do some other spaces, and free up space in the house that they were already living in. And it was, it just made me realize like this is going to make people change their lives. Like it's going to make them make intentional decisions and life-changing decisions. So it's really eye-opening. I
heard it. Yeah, no kidding. I heard two, well, I heard a lot of things, but I heard 2 things specifically that jumped out for me. And one was you found I guess your ikigai, which is the thing that you're, just naturally good at and want to do in the world, which is really cool. But then there's the, as soon as you put it out there, and I forget the words that you said that you put on the Facebook, unclutter your life.
Yeah. Clear the clutter, calm your life.
Like talk about a rallying cry of truth. Yeah. Right. Like that from a brand perspective, I'm like, holy crap, that hits. And then, and then the fact that you just made it up as you went along, which I can't.
Literally, I just Googled clutter. Like I just Googled clutter. And I used an image that was like, those little like crowns that's like, I don't know. It's like a branding thing. And so somebody had already drafted up this image and I literally just copied it off of there. This is how I roll, right? I'm like, if I can try it, throw it spaghetti at the wall, see if it sticks. It's just like, you never know what's going to work until you try. And even if it falls flat on its face, that's not failing. That's just like I said to you earlier, like there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Yeah. Right. And that's what I've been doing this whole entire time is figuring out what works and what doesn't. And the market determines that. The people determine that. So I just go with it.
Well, and the fact that, and I guess this is why you're such a great fit for this show is, because you ended up with a client almost accidentally, like you hung your shingle, suddenly it's happening. And now you've got to figure out how to do business. Yeah. Like,
it was a fly by the seat of my pants because my friend, I had her daughter babysit my kids because they're homeschooled. Right. And so her homeschooled daughter babysat mine. Well, I went to this storage room and she asked me, what do you need them for? Like, why are you going out? And I'm like, I have to organize this storage room. She's like, oh my God, you need to do my whole house. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, how much is it going to cost? I'm like, I don't know, like $1,000. But I need all the before and afters and I need you to do a review. And she's like, oh yeah, no problem. We literally did her whole house in 5 days. And I had all these before and afters. I had her review. And then I just started posting those all over Facebook. And it just took off. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now look at you.
Yeah. Now I don't even have to be on site anymore because my team is doing the client work. It's nuts.
How did you transition from boots on the ground or hands in the clutter, I guess is a better way to put it, to now being the boss lady?
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm a very hands-on person and I am very results orientated. So I like to do things and like to see the results and get the feedback and the appreciation, I like the pats on the back. But I actually had a lady from Red Deer reach out to me and ask like, hey, can I get some business coaching from you because I'm starting my business and I want to know how you're doing what you're doing. And this was a year and a half into it. So we had kind of gone through COVID. I got laid off my part-time job. I was doing organizing full-time, not by choice, but by necessity. And I was doing like 5-6 session days a week by myself. My kids were being homeschooled by the homeschool teenagers. And it was just nuts. Like I was like, I am fried. And so when this lady reached out to me from Red Deer, I said to her, well, I can't necessarily give you all my tips and tricks because you're technically competition. So I've been going to Red Deer for clients too. And she's like, well, just give me a few, some of your time, I'll pay you. So she paid me $100. And I sat down like over Zoom for an hour. And then she's like, yeah, this is great. Are you looking for anybody to work for you down in Red Deer? I could help you. And I'm like, oh shit, you could help me. And then we did a job together north of Red Deer, and we did the kitchen and the pantry in a day, whereas normally it would take me 2 days to do that by myself. I was like, I don't have to drive back down here tomorrow. This is awesome. I can spend tomorrow with my kids. Yeah. Like that's what really made me realize it wasn't necessarily about the money, even though I could charge double for the contractor and pay them 50% of that, which was awesome. But I could get my time back with my kids, which I needed. Yeah. And then another lady from right nearby my area emailed me and said, oh, you did my cousin's house. And she told me what you do. And I want to do what you do. Can I get some business coaching from you? Same exact situation. She paid me $100 for an hour of my time, told her everything kind of that I have to do besides the organizing on-site work. And she's like, I don't want to do any of that. Can I just work for you? So within a period of like 2 months, I had 2 new contractors that were coming on projects with me. We were busting things out like so fast. And I was like, holy crap. I remember telling my partner, I will never hire anyone. I'm going to do this all by myself till the day I die because I don't trust anybody. That was 4 years ago. And he's like, yeah, it's a good plan. And then I started telling him, oh, I'm bringing these people on to help me. And he's like, oh, what happened to that? I'm not hiring anybody. So now we have 20 contractors that help across Alberta. And we have more people reaching out to come on board. So that's how that started. And then after about a year and a half of working with the team and the team growing and more people coming on board with me, I didn't need to go anymore. And I was just like, you guys are totally capable of doing these jobs yourselves. And like, yeah. So because they live in Edmonton, Red Deer, and I don't have to drive from friggin' Camrose an hour one way and be apart from my kids, like I'm just like, go do it, man. Like you rock it. And they love it. And the clients are thrilled and the results are amazing. And we get the reviews and I, like people give me props even in the reviews, like Christa did amazing. She sent Jen and Jen did this. And I'm like, oh, I'm still getting credit. Like it's a weird thing because I'm so used to doing the actual physical work and getting the credit for that. Now I'm just organizing the organizing business. And even in that respect too, like hiring the back end workers to do, the admin and the accounting and the social media posting and all that stuff you see on social media. I don't schedule any of that stuff like that. I outsource all of it. And it's so cool when people message me and we're like, oh, you're changing my life. And I'm like, am I? That's cool. I feel like I'm not. So it's a neat feeling, but it's a mind fuck for sure. When you go from being like the worker bee to I have to do everything and I have to do it all myself to being this person that's like, oh, I don't have to do everything by myself. And I can help more people this way. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, somebody recently said something that if you, I'm going to get this so wrong, but the gist of it was that if you are the only person working in your business and you've created a job, you haven't created a business. Mm-hmm. And
that's a difference between being self-employed and being a CEO. Right. And like when people say, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, but like they're doing 100% of the things all by themselves. I'm like, you're not an entrepreneur. Like you're a slave to your own self. And are you even paying yourself well? Cause if your boss paid you what you paid you would tell them to fuck off. Like that's my thing too, is it's like,
oh, I love it.
the money thing that gets me, but I love all of it. I love every single aspect of business, like every single one, to be honest.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's clearly in your nature to organize not just people's lives, but your own business. I think that's crazy. That's so great.
Yeah.
Huh. So what is the next? I mean, I guess expansion is in your future. But
yeah, it's here. It's been happening, right? So I have a lady in Hinton that I'm doing an interview with. She can do Grand Cache, Jasper. We're going to eventually expand west. Like I can do BC, no problem, if I can find good people. Sure. So that's kind of on the radar. But I do business coaching. I'm expanding my own personal development and understanding of how, people's brains work, the subconscious works, behaviors, beliefs, all of that ties into the actions and the results in your environment. So that's going to be a critical factor in me expanding into, more speaking, more workshops, and then also a course that eventually can just help more people understand why they have the outcomes that they have in their life and what they can do to change that.
Oh, Chris, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wait, awesome. Way to go. Holy shit. Sign me
thanks.
up.
Okay, cool.
That's so great. Wow. Okay. So, what do you do in your spare time?
Travel.
Great.
My kids are week on, week off with their dad. And so usually in the winter, one of those weeks, my partner and I will go to Mexico. Or somewhere warm. So that's kind of on him. I'm lucky to have him. He doesn't mind helping me out with that. Nice. And then we do a lot of this weird game called Bones. I don't know if anybody has heard of Bunnock. Look it up. It's weird, but it's fun. So we do that in the summer. On weekends, we play tournaments and we do really well. My kids had gotten into it last summer and we actually won some tournaments with my son. That's kind of what we do in the summer. And then in the winter, I'm not a winter sports person, but I'll take my kids skiing, sledding, skating. Gotcha. Yeah. And
I need to go back to Bones for a second.
Wait. Oh.
What kind of game is this?
It's so random. People are going to be like, this is so dumb, but it's very popular. It came from World War II. It's really weird. The soldiers would use horse knee bones from the dead horses. This is so weird. And set them up in a row. They would set up 20 of them and they would have 20 on another end of the court, 30 feet apart or something like that. And then you have the two end ones that are a different color called the guards. And 4 people on each team each have 2 bones. You have to throw all the way down the court and hit the guards first. Once you knock those down, then you can start hitting the soldier bones. And the first team to hit down all the bones wins. Oh my God. So you don't need a lot of athletic or like physical prowess. Like we play against seniors who are 90 and sitting in a walker, and then they get up and they do their throw. And it's very fun. It's a family orientated game. Anybody, any age can play it, any skill level. And it's just a great way to, meet new people and stay a little active and do something different. Yeah. You can win good money doing the tournaments. Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love learning new stuff. And I love the fact that it's got its history is, from the Great Wars, which is wild.
They do a massive tournament out in Macklin, Saskatchewan, 300 teams. And we did really quite well in that tournament, win some money. But it's just fun to meet people and you camp and you like drink and hang out. And, it's great. Great time. Check it out.
I'm totally going to check it out.
Bunnock, or the Game of Bones.
The Game of Bones.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the show notes. We'll find a link.
Yeah, people can reach out to me if they want to join our tournament in Camrose. We're doing one in April again. Last year, our tournament had 60 teams. My team won. But come and beat me. I dare you.
Wow. Okay. The gauntlet has been thrown. That's amazing.
But this is the thing, right? Is like last summer, we were able to do that every weekend. And my team was able to handle the clients because clients always want weekends.
Right.
2 years ago, I would never have been able to go away in the summer on the weekends. But last year I did, and it's going to happen again this summer. And it's just so nice to not to have to do the work. If I want to, I can. Yeah. But it's important that as an entrepreneur, you have the bigger picture of your business should serve your life, not the other way around. So
well, and it sounds like you found people that have a kindred spirit. So they do love the organizational side of it, but they just don't love the business side of it.
Exactly.
And how great is it to meet you who loves both things, but loves the business more, so it allows them to do the thing that they're passionate about. That's so cool.
It's amazing. It's a win-win-win, right? Because I'm setting up these amazing women with these great skills to help these clients who desperately need it. And I mean, honestly, most of the 99% of the interviews that I do with new contractors, they don't even ask about the compensation. And I don't bring it up. Like, we're talking about, oh, why do you enjoy it? And how did you get into it? And what do you want to help people with? And what different things can you realize that you can help, change people's lives? And then at the end, I'm like, any other questions? And like, oh, yeah, what's the compensation? It's like an afterthought, right? And that's where I know I have the right people, because I compensate them very well, but they're doing it for more than the money. And that's the best part. And the clients can feel that. So, yeah.
Oh, that's outstanding.
I'm very blessed.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, Christa, that's wicked. Okay, I have two questions for you. First one is, I have more than two questions. What's a guilty pleasure? What's the thing that Christa does just for Christa?
Massages. I have an incredible masseuse, and he's like kind of woo-woo. So he's like energy healer. And I see him as often as possible. I started seeing him essentially for like the physical work, right? Because it was doing a number on me, and I need to be in top prime shape, like for that, because it is very physical. People don't realize how much you're lifting and how many stairs you're doing, and you're on your feet all day, and it's just nuts. But after I started doing more desk work and networking and admin stuff, like I needed to see him for other reasons, but it is a soul thing too. Like I that's where I spend most of my money, but thank God for a health spending account.
Right?
Have that now, which is nice.
Health spending accounts. Woo-woo. That's awesome. Do you watch are you like a Netflix person, or do you have like and what's your go-to? What's your binge-worthy advice?
Well, when I'm at my boyfriend's, it's whatever he wants to watch, because he does not want to watch any of my shows with me. So if he's busy doing something else, then I will watch like The Crown. Oh, I love anything to do with the royal family. Or like old school movies like Bridgerton or Little Women, like things like that are like where people dress up in like these really elaborate costumes and outfits, and the women are being very like rebellious and independent, and then they're getting in trouble for it, and they're like pushing back against the system. Weird. And trying to be independent of men, and like I fucking love that shit. So yeah.
Have you watched The Great?
Great. Oh, what is that one about?
It's I'm trying to think of what streaming service it's on. Maybe it's Prime, but it's basically about Catherine the Great. Oh, and it's so good and so naughty and bad.
Okay, I'll look it up.
And just insane. It's so good, but you might like it because it's very similar. But also it is dark and hilarious.
Okay, sounds perfect.
Yeah, so there's my recommendation back to you.
Love it.
So you're in Camrose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're, I think I've been to Camrose, but maybe I haven't. I'm sure I've driven past it.
It's only an hour from Edmonton. I don't know why more people don't come. Like, it's super cute.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, here's the thing. It's just, I just don't end up there. I'm down south, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so you're out there doing what you do in Camrose. Is there a river? Is there like a forest? Is there a place that you like to go walk?
We have a valley. There's a bit of a river down there, and it's really good for like cross country skiing in the winter. Nice. We got great trails for biking and walking. Yeah, and the kids love to go down there and just there's also Mirror Lake, and you can walk around the lake. They used to have swans, but they were kind of mean, kind of assholes.
Yeah, swans are assholes. Yeah.
Passed off on them. And then, we have, so many good shops on Main Street, lots of local shopping and cafes and restaurants. And yeah, it's just a great town. Like it's a city, but it has everything or more than we need. And you can get from one end of town to the other in 7 minutes in rush hour. Like it's just, I love it. It's very safe, very family friendly, lots of seniors, but you can get out in the country without being at loss for what the things that you need. Because we provide a lot of services and groceries and things for all of the agricultural, communities and little hamlets. Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. What's the one thing that you wish the world knew?
One thing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You can have more than one, but I'm just going to say one.
I'm learning a lot right now in a course that I'm doing. And one thing that really stood out to me is that your words don't actually explain or describe your experience, but they create your experience.
Oh.
They determine the experience that you have. There's so much power in your subconscious mind, and then the words that you use to express your beliefs and your values and your identity. And it actually, the power in those words is more impactful than you realize. So, yeah.
Holy shit.
There's a lot. There's so much depth to it.
Yeah.
But one of the prime directives of the subconscious mind that I learned yesterday is that it doesn't process negatives. So if you say, don't run to your child, they don't hear the word don't. The subconscious mind doesn't hear don't. It just hears run. If you say, don't slam the door, the subconscious mind will just hear slam the door because it doesn't process negatives. And then when you're talking negatively about someone or something else, your subconscious mind thinks you're talking about yourself. It doesn't process that you're talking about somebody else. So anything you say about anybody else, your subconscious mind is saying like, oh, she believes that about herself. Wow. So it is completely transforming the way that I am. Yeah, the way that I'm living. It's mind blowing.
This is words are failing me, which is rare. But it seems to me that you're kind of on a quest that I didn't expect to find, frankly. So that's really cool that you're still searching and trying to, ferret out the meaning and purpose and, how to organize maybe the things that you can't see.
Yeah. Always. I've always been a learner, a seeker, trying to figure out the truth, trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, what's real. And I think my drive for that is like, if I can figure it out, if I can learn it, if I can apply it, if I can see results, if I can get the outcomes from it, then I can share it with other people who are struggling and need the help and like maybe could improve their life. Because I've always been a teacher in that respect too, like always telling my peers at school, like, this is what I learned, or this is how you do that, or here, implement this. And it just continues in my life. And, it's because of what I've learned and what I've done for myself that I can then help others. Yeah. And so it's very powerful.
That's wicked. In that vein, and because, you've talked with these other women who want to start their own thing, but then decide that they just want to do your thing. What advice would you give to these entrepreneurs or people who think they want to be entrepreneurs or people going from self-employed to CEO? What do you tell them?
There's a lot to say, but I think for me, it's so hard to pick one. I want to say I have a number one thing, but I think honestly, like, yes, there is the hustle and the grind and the sacrifice, and you have to be prepared for that time and that energy and that money investment, right? And the learning and the growing and doing a lot of these things on your own if you don't have financial backing or whatever you need to be able to pay other people to help you. Be prepared for that, because you can look at someone like me who took a seemingly very weird thing and grew it into something very quickly and go, oh, wow, you did that so fast. I can do that. And it's like, okay, wait. Like, let me tell you what I did 20 years prior to that I learned and grew and developed before I got to this point. And then let me tell you about the first 2.5, 3 years of doing this and how much I had to sacrifice time with my kids, time with my partner, my self-care time. I was not very good at saying no to people. Like, I just took every single opportunity. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. And that's why I got this so far so fast. But if I could go back, I would definitely pace myself a lot more because I missed out on a lot of the young years with my kids. And it hurt even more because they were week on, week off with their dad. And so the weeks that I did have them, it was like, okay, I should be spending this time with my kids, but I have to provide for them too. So it's like, and remember that too. And I have one full week without my kids. You can get a hell of a lot done without kids around. Like I have moms that ask me, how do you do it? I'm like, send my kids to their dads for a week. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I bust my ass during the weeks that they're not with me because now when they are with me, I try to take as much time off as possible. You know, just do things like this, do an interview or do a home assessment. But yeah, it's a grind. You need to be prepared to spend a lot of time and late nights and sacrifice fun things if, you know, you don't have that financial backing or a partner to support you financially. I don't know. You can pace it out. You can, you know, spread out your investment of time and energy, but it's going to just take a little bit longer. So you have to know what you want your lifestyle to look like. You have to know what you're aiming for. For me, it was like, I need to get this rolling really fast because I have no other money coming in. Right. So it's a different, Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
There's a lot. It's complicated.
Oh yeah, that's big. That was a big question to ask, but I think that, you know, sometimes it helps for people just to have a starting place, you know, to be able to be like, okay, you know, it's great to hear that, you know, you had this runway of 20 years leading up to this thing. And then you had the years of grind to get the thing to where you want it to be. You know, yes, there are sacrifices, but you have to sometimes make those sacrifices to get to where you want faster because now you're here and it's better here.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I can't imagine still grinding the way that I was in the first 2.5 years. Like, if I was still doing that now, I don't know if I would be doing it anymore because it was exhausting mentally, physically, emotionally.
Totally. Yeah. Burnout is real, I think. And that's maybe the other thing to, you know, give to our rebels in waiting or our entrepreneurs and as they dive headlong off this cliff is to, you know, take that time for self-care, like you'd said.
Huge.
Yeah. To recharge. If you could, this is something that I've added to the show and I haven't, I mean, it's, sometimes it's very big asks, but if you could hear anybody on this show, who would it be? Who would you want to hear about? Whose story would you want to hear?
That's a good question. I don't know. I like Leon Draisaitl. I think he's hot and he's very incredible at what he does. And he seems like an amazing guy, amazing leader. You know, I would love to know what it was like, you know, having to just do the same thing every day and you still do it. Like, I mean, these guys have been doing this thing since they could walk. And I don't know what that's like because I've changed careers in my life so many times. And then you watch them on the ice and people have this like idealized version or their own thoughts about who this person is. But you really don't know all the backstory. So it would be amazing to just kind of hear the whole story and like his actual deeper thoughts about it all. Like, there's so many questions I would ask any of those guys on that team.
Interesting.
Yeah. But also it would be fun to look at for half an hour.
Well, I will reach out and and if they say yes,
good luck.
You never know.
You can get it. You can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if I've had Christa Jones and Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, on the show. I mean, I'm sure we can get them.
You've had some big guests. Like, I was watching a couple of your episodes. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go after her. Like, what? But it's amazing. It's amazing to hear people's stories. And a lot of it, you know, is just very inspiring because people come from shit situations or have to go through really crazy stuff. Yeah. And it's cool to know, like, they're human just like the rest of us. So.
Yeah. Of all the people that I've interviewed, every single one of them has been a human with problems. You know, everybody, like, without... There's not been one that's just been like, oh yeah, I just showed up fully formed. It's been great. Never happened.
Holy man. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. This has been an absolute pleasure and a privilege for me, Christa. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thanks for your questions and taking the time to listen, and hopefully people enjoy it and get some great nuggets out of it.
Well, I know that I'm going to start organizing my shit better. You know, what you're seeing is this great, beautiful black background, but you don't see the chaos that surrounds me in this studio.
Don't worry. I have my things too. It's a lot easier to organize other people's stuff and help other people make decisions about letting go.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So definitely, if you need help, I can send an organizer to help you.
You know somebody? You got a team?
You.
Amazing. Christa, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. This was great, Mike.
I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the RebelRebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, why don't you head on over to the RebelRebelPodcast.com and fill out our guest request form. We'll get back to you within 24 hours, and maybe we can share your story with the world. Don't forget to like, share, or subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And thanks so much for listening. Until next time.